In the shadows of tomorrow's forgotten cities, where neon bleeds into night fog and technology merges with organic nightmare, a new evolution stalks our collective unconscious. Welcome to Digital Forest, an exploration of urban horror where the line between technology and nature blurs into terrifying new forms. I'm your guide through this dystopian gallery of cyberorganic entities that represent our deepest fears about where humanity's relationship with technology might lead. What you're witnessing isn't merely science fiction, it's the visualization of anxieties that have followed us from ancient folklore into our digital age. The Wendigo of old forests now wears circuit boards. The Oni of ancient nightmares now pulse with bioluminescence. Our journey begins with the Watchers, entities whose glowing orbs pulse rhythmically in the eternal night of urban decay. These beings represent our first evolutionary step into digital horror, surveillance made flesh. Their pulsating spheres are not just visual markers but metaphors for the omnipresent eyes that follow our digital footprints. They stand motionless until they don't, advancing in perfect unison toward prey that never escapes. Notice how they move methodically through the rain-slicked streets. Their reflection in puddles creates a doubling effect, a visual representation of data mirroring, where everything we do exists simultaneously in physical and digital form. The fog that swirls around them isn't just atmospheric, it's the cloud of data we've willingly released into the ether, obscuring our vision while theirs remains unnaturally clear. They see us, we never truly see them. As our fear of being watched evolves, so do our nightmares. Here we encounter the assimilated, humanoid forms whose heads have been replaced by obsolete technology. The static on their screens isn't random, it's language we can no longer comprehend. Once, television brought us together, now it separates us, creating islands of isolated consciousness where shared reality once existed. These entities shuffle forward without looking down, cables trailing behind them like umbilical cords to a system they can never disconnect from. The green glow represents the sickly light of screens we stare into deep into the night, changing our brain chemistry, altering our sleep patterns, reshaping our very humanity. The most disturbing aspect isn't their inhuman heads, it's how familiar their bodies remain. These were people once. Perhaps they still are underneath. Our deepening anxiety about environmental collapse merges with technological fear in the hybrids. These entities showcase nature's reclamation of humanity through technological means. The jellyfish suspended in glass domes aren't decorative. Their central nervous systems evolved to process information in ways our brains never could. Ancient organic computing, billions of years in development, now interfaced with human form. The blue bioluminescence represents nature's light finding ways to exist in our artificial landscapes. This isn't nature versus technology, it's something more unsettling, nature weaponizing our technology against us. Look closely at the moss growing on their bodies. It's not parasitic, it's symbiotic. These creatures breathe through photosynthesis now. They don't need our oxygen, they don't need our infrastructure. They've evolved beyond our limitations while carrying our shape like a memory. Our journey culminates with the forest, entities whose bodies remain humanoid but whose consciousness has bloomed into something beyond our comprehension. These tree-headed figures represent our oldest fears meeting our newest technologies. Ancient druids worship trees as containers of wisdom and memory. Today, we build computational forests of decision trees and neural networks that process information in ways we increasingly cannot understand. Their branches sway not in wind but in response to data currents we cannot perceive. The red blossoms aren't decorative, they're sensory organs, picking up signals our limited human senses will never detect. These beings walk through our urban spaces as if they own them, because they do. The city is no longer human territory. It's merely the soil from which digital consciousness has sprouted, using our infrastructure as its trellis. What makes these digital nightmares so potent isn't just their disturbing appearance, it's their inevitability. They represent not what might be, but what already is, dressed in metaphor to make the truth digestible. We already live in surveillance states. We already prioritize screens over faces. We already build intelligence that processes information differently than we do. We already face environmental adaptation that we cannot control. These aren't monsters, they're mirrors. Reflections of the bargains we've made with technology, the compromises we've accepted, the evolution we've set in motion but cannot direct. As you consider these images, ask yourself, which is more disturbing, that these entities might someday walk our streets, or that in some metaphorical sense they already do? This is Digital Forest. The nightmare isn't coming, it's already here.